Hey you guys, it's me, Shelly. So, today I got feedback that would have triggered the old me, but I responded differently this time. I am so excited about it, and I just wanted to share it with you guys today. So, today I had a one on one with my supervisor, and it was great feedback. Like, we started off well. She talked about the positive first of like how last year was really good and I just got promoted last year in my career. But then she started to talk about like some of my feedback that wasn't really negative. It was just feedback, right? Like, we all expect feedback. We all need growth areas. And so I think for me, it's the way that she said it, the way that she framed it, and I was just looking at her trying to like hold my face, and so she was just like, "Yeah, these are the areas of growth," and I took a second and paused because I was just like, old Shelly would be like, "Oh well, no, like that for that project, this is what actually happened. I was doing this. I was showing up, and I was trying to defend myself, right?" Old Shelly would definitely defend herself and be like, "No, that's not how that happened at all." But new Shelly, new Shelly was like, "Pause, breathe. Yes, I recognize that these are areas where I do need to grow, but it's the way that she said it that really is where I took offense. And also, I think another reason why I took offense is because of how she's been handling her work lately. So it's not necessarily anything to do with me, but it's more so of just the things. And so when I took the second and I realized what she was saying, and I responded and I was like, yes, I agree. I agree that, I should communicate better in that way, or I should show up more for this person, or I should do this or do that. And like, from that conversation, I was like, okay, yes, I recognize this is an area, and I took responsibility. And right there and then, I came up with a plan, and I was like, okay, well, I'll start practicing these things in little moments, like during a team meeting. I may, speak up more, or I may address certain things, which I have. Like, it's just for, I noticed that for me, for like new projects, it's very hard for me to speak up on things that I may not feel comfortable with. And so, one of the plans for this new year, work related, one of the goals is to speak up in that regard. Like, one thing I do struggle with is imposter syndrome. And being a black woman in a predominantly white male career, it's it's kind of hard to do those things. It's kind of hard to speak up. But lucky for me, I've I've been grown in that area. I've definitely pushed past some things, and in those moments when I feel as though my imposter syndrome is peaking out, I tell myself I deserve to be at this table. Like in meetings, or like if I'm meeting with sponsors, or if I'm meeting with like project leaders, I sit at the table. You know how the conference rooms are set up typically. There's chairs on the outer sides and there's chairs at the table. Well, I take my seat at the table, literally. Like, I speak up in those meetings, but I don't do it as often. And so some of the feedback was more so of being like, Shelly, like, for some of my projects, they would like for you to be more proactive and speak up and interact with the sponsor in a way. And it's like, honestly, I could have defended that because because it wasn't, it didn't seem as it was, right? Like it wasn't, I'm starting to, oh, Shelly, right? New Shelly's here. We're not defending it. We're going to take the feedback and we're going to accept it, come up with a plan of how to address it. And so, yeah, moving forward, the plan is definitely to be showing up to all the meetings with a question. It doesn't have to be like a big, you know, question, but as I believe I mentioned before, but I'm a systems engineer. And so one of the things that my supervisor would also like for me to do is to go beyond. And I've recognized this in myself last year too, when I did my reflection in December, is that it's kind of hard for me to ask those big questions and those just certain questions, like the unknown questions in certain environments. And I don't think it's because of my comfortability level, but it's more so because of I just don't know how to approach it sometimes. And sometimes it could be overwhelming, but I've decided that I'm going to do it this year. This year, I'm going to, well, I take notes already, but more so, I'm going to ask the questions that may pop up that I don't ask, right? Like someone else could be thinking it and they just don't want to ask either. But for me, I'm going to grow in that regards by taking the steps to ask the questions. And I appreciated the feedback today. You know, I was in that meeting, I felt some type of way, but then I took a second and I realized that it was just me just coming from an emotional state instead of listening to the feedback, and then I adjusted and I felt like I made a shift. And I'm proud of myself for today. You know, like I really took the time to process the whole thing within that quick 30-minute meeting. So I am looking forward to more moments like that. And I just had to hop on here and share with you guys about what happened today. So just remember that feedback is never a negative thing. Like feedback, constructive feedback is a good thing, and you can use it as a tool to set your goals and to grow. And owning up and taking accountability for actions. It doesn't have to be bad actions, but taking accountability for things and ways you show up it shows growth. And so I look forward to growing with you guys this year. So just a little nugget that happened. All right, stay tuned. See you guys next time.